So I also talked about the failed family structure and how the government kind of intrudes into people's personal lives and family lives. But I threw in Child 44 with that because Leo and Raisa kind of have a unique relationship, and that it starts out as like a completely political thing. Like they don't actually love each other, they just need a spouse, like because the government expects that. But then eventually they like actually start liking each other and having an emotional connection. So first I kind of started off with children and youth because there's like a contrast between how they're educated in Child 44 and Clockwork Orange, because Clockwork Orange, they don't have to go to school if they don't want to. They can just like run around and do crimes and do whatever. But Child 44, they like go to school and they're like love Stalin, worship Stalin, like have all these strict rules for the kids. And so like kind of we were talking about the education, that's like a big difference. And then the government really intrudes into family life by like turning family members against one another. Like the whole Junior Spy League idea in 1984 is dedicated to like putting families against each other. Like families don't matter, government matters. And you have to put Big Brother before everybody else to be like a good citizen. And then next with this, like the families aren't always like the primary influences on the main characters. Like Julia influences Winston a lot more than his family does because he doesn't have a family or like live with the family. And same with Alex, like his friends influence his opinions and his actions and all that more than his family does. So that can make me think like, does the government or families or friends, like what has the most impact on people and like how they act and what they think? And then I already kind of talked about that with like the political aspect of marriage. And last, like Leo and Winston didn't really have like the biological families to like learn from and lean on. So like how does that impact them and their thoughts, and do the crises that cause those family separations, like does the government support those kind of crises so that families will break up and so that they can intrude more and have more power? So.
Do you think, or one of the characteristics in 1984 was that there was like the inner party and the outer party? Do you think that, in a similar way, you have your loyalty to your certain party, like that kind of takes the place of that family relationship? Like that's what you look towards, kind of like you look towards the government?
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of true because, like, the inner party and the outer party and the proles all have something in common. So even if they don't have families to kind of guide them, they can look to their party for cues about what to think or do or say and all that. So that's a good point. I covered it all with Christine, so I took notes on that one.
On your last point,
Yeah.
What do you think personally about that?
I think they don't necessarily support like killing people, but they aren't opposed to the fact that like breaks up families and gives them more power. Like they're not outwardly supporting like murder and war and all that stuff, but if those crises can give them more power and can break up families and make the government seem more influential, then I don't think they're opposed to it.
So you think it helps the government appear like the savior?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it necessary for a government to break up a family for itself to appear as a savior?
I don't think it's necessary. necessary, but it certainly helps. Like, if there's this big war or big famine and your family has to separate and the government's there to help you or guide you or tell you what to think or do or say or how to live or where to live, then people are gonna trust the government more and want to be a part of the government because it was there when they needed it. And so I don't think there necessarily has to be a crisis for the government to appear that way, but it helps.
Are there examples where the family does stay together and yet the government is still seen in a savior-like manner?
I mean,
And it's fine if you haven't researched it, but
yeah, I'm sure there are. Like, Leo and Marisa kind of stay together, even though the government's, like, hunting them and all that, but they're, like, the whole famine was what caused Leo, or Pavel, to break up from his family and kind of start his new life, so I don't know. I'll have to look more into that.